So you want to become more disciplined? Great.
Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it.
Because without discipline, there is no success.
That's what you have to do to be the best.
Understand that you can revolutionize your life by becoming disciplined. And this video is going to simply lay out how you can become just that.
Once you change one thing,
Because the best things in life
your mindset,
are found on the other side of your discipline.
you can attack everything.
And once developed, it becomes a superpower.
Why are you out running 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and not later in the day?
Because I don't want to do it.
See, my whole life changed once I started asking myself this question. What would you tomorrow want you to do today?
No one wants to get up at 4 and run when it's pitch dark. It has to be done. And the only reason I do it so early is because I believe that the other guy isn't doing it. And that it gives me a little edge.
Too often I would let myself down because for my whole life I lacked discipline. All through my school years it felt impossible to sit down and study, and even when I started this YouTube channel back in 2020, doing the work felt the same. The night before doing the work I would be so motivated. I'd set myself a big to-do list of what I wanted to accomplish, and I would say to myself, tomorrow I'm finally going to lock in on my tasks. This is where everything changes for me. I cannot wait. Then tomorrow would come, and that drive and motivation would seemingly evaporate. When I went to sit down and do any work, it seemed like my attention was being pulled in 100 different directions, and I just couldn't start into my tasks because being comfortable just seemed so much easier. But guess what? 8 months ago I finally fixed this issue that was holding my life back, and now 8 months later I'm here to tell you that if you really listen to what I'm about to explain in this video, your life is going to drastically change, and you will become unrecognizable to the people around you. See, I realized that what I was lacking was discipline.
Discipline eats motivation for breakfast.
I realized I had an abundance of motivation, but I just hadn't trained my discipline yet.
You don't need motivation. It's great if it arrives, but discipline is the thing that you need.
See, discipline is like a muscle. The same way you train your muscles in the gym is the same way you train your discipline. And so this ultimately means you can train your discipline stat as high as you want. And that should excite you. Because once I realized that I was wasting my life away and missing out on so much opportunities because I wasn't being disciplined, is when I decided to make a change. Because the cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. Like, imagine if we threw away our potential because we couldn't stop procrastinating with BS instead of doing our work. I just couldn't have that regret. But when you start to build your discipline, you eventually realize that motivation is fake. It's not there every day. But discipline is. And the way that you can build that discipline is to see any resistance as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to level up your discipline stat.
If you want to push harder, know this. Your mind quits way before your body does. So you have to be willing to go way into that darkness and find more yourself.
A form of resistance that I encounter all the time is going to the gym. For the last 8 months I've been getting up at 6 AM to work out. And I'm not going to lie, most mornings when I wake up I don't want to. My brain starts to think of excuses as to how I can lie in bed and get 5 minutes of extra sleep. And on them really hard days it even jumps to how I can get out of this situation. But then I realize that pushing through this resistance is going to grow my discipline. Even recently I was thinking, and I realized that I've never regretted doing any hard task that I've ever set for myself, but I have regretted not doing the hard task. And isn't it weird how our minds always try to make us gravitate towards avoiding the hard tasks? This is why building your discipline is vital, because your quality of life improves exponentially, because you replace shame and guilt for avoiding the work with confidence and a newfound trust in yourself. When I realized this, it made it clear to me that a lot of the time you can't trust your own mind, because your mind is looking for the easier option, for that comfort. See, to consistently get over these doubts and fears about doing the hard work, like I be having some mornings about working out, you have to forget your feelings. Understand that your brain is looking for the most comfortable option. So start having the mindset, I'm going to feel the fear, but do it anyway. I've stayed consistent because I've created my non-negotiables. These are essential when it comes to developing discipline, because it creates a system that even if you don't feel like doing the work, you have to do it because it is a non-negotiable. You're not allowed to debate over it. My non-negotiables consist of getting up at 6 a.m. every morning to work out and to do a minimum of 2 hours of deep work every day. I know if I do that as a minimum every day, that my work is just going to compound, and over time I'm going to see huge progress in my life. So right now, create your non-negotiables. What is something you are going to set yourself as a minimum to get done every day that you believe will progress you towards your goals? Don't make your non-negotiables so unrealistic that you can't consistently do them every day, because that is the key, to consistently do them every day. That ultimately is what discipline is. And yes, half the time you aren't going to be motivated to achieve your non-negotiables for that day. A lot of days I couldn't be bothered in the slightest to sit down and do my deep work because something more stimulating has got a hold of my attention. But eventually I do it anyway. And what do I get as a result? An increase in my discipline stat, making my future endeavors easier. A habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the start of a new habit. Too often I would lazily skip the gym, leave them dirty dishes at the sink, and have my room a mess. I didn't realize by doing that I was absolutely destroying my discipline muscle. Without me knowing it, not cleaning my dishes negatively affected other areas of my life. Sounds bizarre, right? But hear me out. This is because it became a lot easier to let other areas of my life slip. I began thinking, I can start that work later, or I can cheat on my diet just today and eat clean tomorrow. So all these negative habits began compounding, and as a result, my discipline was reducing. It kept becoming easier and easier to just choose the more comfortable option, and this caused every hard task to feel like an immense struggle. At that time, what I didn't understand was that how you do one thing is how you do everything. Now straight after I eat, I wash my dishes immediately. When I recognize there's dirty clothes on my floor, I just put them away without any hesitation, because it's the little disciplines that truly develop your discipline muscle. I started to realize that if I'm not fit to even get up and clean my own dishes, how can I ever expect to achieve success in my goals or to sit down and focus on a difficult task? By sticking to these smaller disciplines, you begin to generate momentum, and it ultimately becomes easier to start into your larger tasks. This is because you start to have an identity shift, as you start to view yourself as a more disciplined individual. Here are some key habits I do every day to excel my discipline stat. Have a cold shower in the morning, work out, eat healthy, reduce my screen time, meditate because it allows you to have a stronger focus. I eat the frog, which means doing my hardest task of the day first thing in the morning, and I complete a deep work block of 90 minutes every day. See, these are things that are hard to consistently do, but as I always say, through hard work we grow. And how are we ever meant to grow if we never push ourselves outside of our comfort zone?
If I'm running on a treadmill and I get to mile 9 and I get complete cramp in one of my legs, and I know I've told myself I'm going to run 10 kilometers today, I will have to limp the last mile even if no one's watching, because I can't let the demons in. And if I let the demons in, they'll show up in the 11th round of a championship fight when there's 50,000 people watching me in the audience, and I know deep in my self-story that I'm the type of person that quits when things get hard because I got off that treadmill at mile 9 when no one was watching. It would modify my self-story. The commitments we keep to ourselves and what we do when no one's watching is the most persuasive evidence that governs everything we then do every day thereafter.
I don't understand why we try to avoid and procrastinate doing our hard tasks so much. Why do we view going to work out and do hard tasks as such a chore? Because they're actually amazing things. We get to transform and grow as a result. And I realized, isn't that one of our main objectives in life? To progress and grow every day, to eventually reach our full potential. So I've started thinking, why do we sabotage ourselves? If we truly want to become more disciplined, we have to choose our hard. Because going to the gym is hard, but wouldn't you agree being out of shape is harder? Sitting down to study is hard, but isn't failing that important exam even harder? Once you start viewing everything like this, being disciplined just becomes your natural state of being. And I leave you with this. You either feel the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Remember, the choice is yours. Through hard work we grow. Peace.